I have been trying to get another room or another place that I can do my video series or subjects that are a bit controversial, because I haven't been able to. But in the last place I had trouble with some neighbors, and some of the reactions, because the walls, they're not that thick, and they react very violently. Well, not violently, but very strongly. And anyhow, I think the last landlord, she liked me a lot, and the feeling was mutual. But there just was so much going on in the place. The drama would not stop. This brings me to a couple of topics or ideas that they might sound really strange, and then also at the end I'm gonna talk about some of my own experiences. These are like spiritual experiences, and the reasons why I can hear and see these things, but a lot of people, they kind of miss it, or they do, but they ignore it and they go on. I call this video the blackest black sheep, which is very descriptive of my life. Is like I've been rejected and thrown out of just about any place you can imagine. I don't think the Sufi master likes the idea of kicking me out. I do think there has been a lot of efforts even there, but I think I've earned the nickname Black Sheep, or the blackest black sheep. Anyhow, what I was trying to talk about is, before I go into this topic, there is a saying by the Greeks that there isn't anything under the sun that the damn philosopher, he didn't talk about it first. The Sufi master said it differently. He said, there is nothing new under the sun, which is like any kind of invention or idea or topic that you can imagine is already happened and already been there. So what I want to talk about today is like I want to say that the morality or divine law or code of ethics is not something that can be legislated by the judiciary or by legislative branch. Okay, what exists as U.S. law or case law, or let's say laws that Congress passes or the president says it's so, or stupid cultures that people develop. They say, hey, reality is like this, but it's not. It's just their own construct. Well, I think that the moral law is like written in some implicit fashion inside your own soul. And in each society, it manifests itself according to their history and culture, but it's always, when you add it up, comes up to the same thing. And if a group of people drastically modify this basic code of ethics or conduct or morality, then the whole society will become afflicted and have major problems. For example, here there are groups that have very strong lobbies, and they collect significant money from their members, like dues, and they go after the legislatures, they go after lawmakers, religious leaders, spiritual, anybody that offends them or they don't like it or they want to upturn laws, and they are successful because on top of all these problems that this government has or this society has, every case goes before judiciary, before courts, and they are able through a process of gradual diminishment of whatever that they don't like to upturn major moral laws that have become formulated in the Constitution or in criminal law in each country. For example, let me talk about something that's not as controversial. Then I'll go into something that's more controversial, and that's like NRA. They have a lot of influence, and they pay off or lobby the president, the senators, the congressmen, and they are able to sell or make it legal to sell or buy any kind of weapon grades that are like they're military. They're not even they're automatic. They're high caliber, whatever. And then every year we have mass shootings, and no matter how many modifications they make to the laws regarding buying and selling guns, it doesn't do anything to diminish the number of mass shootings. And this is when a group of individuals have a particular narrow view of how things should be run, they succeed to overturn a general moral law that carrying guns in public is not really a good idea, and there is always bound to be lunatics of some sort that are going to use that. And in fact, there are many societies that carrying weapons or having weapons is totally allowed, and they function just as well or even better, and they have democracy and everything. But the narrow views, and every time there comes any effort to change this narrow view and change the laws, then this group goes around and they lobby and they pay off, or they go to court or to keep laws very simplistic. For example, one of the arguments is that the public has the right to carry weapons. This is to prevent tyranny. Okay, so but there have been very tyrannical governments. The public didn't have any weapons, but changing a government for the people of the same country is not a very difficult thing, because every government is afraid of their own people. They haven't never been in a place where millions of people are against something. The few people who are governing, they cannot govern. You need consent at some level to run things, run the show. And but for example, the NRA, they succeed in preventing the public from reinstituting moral laws that have become like encoded as criminal law, from reinstituting them and bringing them into some kind of balance or some kind of sanity. Okay, this argument, with this narrow focused group like NRA, can be carried to Zionists, the Jews that very strongly favor Israel. It can be carried to homosexuals. that turn over every law by continuously going to court and overturning every law. I think they target individuals like religious leaders or activists that they know they don't agree with it. Then so as the time goes by, the laws that prevent moral decay, prevent things from falling apart in a society, they're gradually more and more diminished, and it becomes like more lawlessness. A lot of what I know that this process has taken place is in the financial markets. I learned about this a lot from Kaiser report, that the government, the regulators, and the judiciary, they don't really prosecute bankers and banksters and fraudsters, and so the financial sector has become sicker and sicker and more fraudulent and more fragile, and I think this process has occurred in many other areas in society. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is that what happens when the laws that protect the public, the moral laws, they become gradually diminished, or they aren't there anymore, then the responsibility for protecting self or kids or the public, more and more these fall into the domain of the family and individual, because nobody is going to tell you don't go do meth. Okay, so the responsibility falls always more and more on the family. If there is kids, it really becomes harder and harder for the parents to stop the kids from doing drugs. Same goes with porn or gambling or carrying weapons. Or well, what I'm saying is that society at some level needs the moral laws, and the moral laws need to reflect in the legal area or criminal justice system, or the laws that prosecute fraudsters. Anyhow, this is a kind of a strange idea, but the reason I earned the name Black Sheep, I think I deserve the name the Blackest Black Sheep, is because after the Iranian Revolution, I think there was an ongoing campaign that has been going on for like many decades, since 1978, was 80s and 90s and 2000, 2010, and now we are on to 2018. So this process has been going on with the U.S. government. Is a constant aggressiveness, constant badgering of foreign governments, especially like governments they don't like Muslim governments, and confronting anybody that could be an activist or could be someone that they don't deem reasonable according to their standards, to just endlessly pursue them. I mean, I was in the 80s and 90s, it was the way I was harassed a lot is like I would go and work for this company or that company, and I have many talents, and I would last like a couple of months, and then suddenly something strange happened and I get fired. Then I go start again, again and again. This went on with teachers and graduate school. I got kicked out of at least a couple of graduate schools. Then when they came like past 90s, I think then this feeling of like being isolated, like a lot of my teachers, a lot of people who I would naturally be friends with, they kind of back away and stay away because they had also this feeling that they will get retaliated on with jobs and with then as time went on, it became more pronounced. It became women kind of avoid because I think I lost a lot of relationships because the women they just sense that hey, this guy is kind of like outcast, or the government wants to make him outcast, and well, if I'm married with him or have kids with him, then maybe I will have more problems too. So it kind of was like a very dampening effect on career, and then now these days, the last 5-6 years, I think it's the gays that are coming around and badgering me, and also because the Iranian government prosecutes them or killed some of them, and especially pedophiles, they just kill them. But the gays, the punishment is more prison or something like that. So I get this, all the time in my face, like all these idiots coming in and declaring ourselves to be this and that. We don't care what you think, you're nobody. This is the rules in our society. But the thing is that I don't think that when a group of individuals or a lobby, they make a law, okay, that they have accepted between themselves, this is really a creation of these individuals, and it's not moral law, and does not matter how many times it becomes shoved into somebody's face. I will never accept it. The same goes with other people, but I don't know when this process will stop, and I think when there is like a significant economic crash, or U.S. loses a major foreign war, then all this strange sense of legitimacy to all the BS that they have created in terms of laws and opinions of about foreigners and Muslims or anybody, they just kind of fall to the wayside. Well, I was very interested in what would happen between Trump and the North Koreans, and I don't think it's over yet, but seems that somebody has a little common sense and don't want to pursue things to their limit. And I think once all this sense of empire dissipates, well, maybe some people will kind of try to look at their own relationships and see that a lot of beliefs is very based on very shady foundations. Well, usually when I try to see things or changes, I always look at women and the way they react, because women are very sensitive and they usually know the bottom line, what is going to happen next. And I see that a lot of American women, they are, first of all, they're lonely, there's nobody there, and then on top of that, they are kind of reevaluating, because a lot of their men, either in foreign countries, or they are retiring now, or they eat real horrible food, and many of them also gone gay or impotent. There's a lot of women that they're just lonely. Nobody does anything with them. So I think that the changes or shifts in the attitudes of society will be between the women and the way they act out. I also think that it's really the women that decide the outcomes of elections, and if a politician plays his card or her card with the women a lot better, then the things might be very different. Anyhow, thank you for being in my YouTube channel, and please subscribe and leave your comment. Okay.